Hello and welcome, and on behalf of everyone here at the Polk County Office of Veteran Services, thanks for joining us. On this installment of Today's Veteran, we'll highlight some news that directly pertains to the local veteran community and chat with 3 senior cadets from the Florida Southern ROTC Battalion, eager to begin their careers as commissioned officers in the U.S. Army. But first, let's take a look at the Veterans Plaza at this year's Sun and Fun Fly-In and Expo, which took place 9 through 14 April in Lakeland. Stand by for your sit rep, Polk County, and prepare to copy.
At Sun and Fun, we have a variety of guests that come in, and a lot of them have served in the U.S. military for our nation. Myself, my boss, and some of the board members have all served as Navy pilots, Marine pilots, and Air Force pilots. This year, we've offered a Veteran Services area in the Southeast Exhibit Center. We feature Veteran Services, their representatives from the James A. Haley Veterans Hospital. We also have the Vietnam Helicopter Pilots Association, and the Vietnam helicopter pilot has brought his aircraft in order to accommodate all of the veterans as a little walk down memory lane.
What we are is a group of all people that either flew helicopters in Vietnam. We don't go to wars outside of Vietnam. It's just Vietnam-era helicopter pilots. And we are a national organization that's very large, and then we have a Florida chapter, and that's us. We have some 450 members from Florida that flew helicopters in Vietnam, and we do anything that we can to support veterans and Vietnam veterans in particular throughout the state of Florida. We're here this week, and this is our 20th year here at Sun and Fun. And we come over here with not only this helicopter, which is an OH-6 light observation helicopter, or as we called it in Vietnam, the Loach. And we bring our sales trailer, and we bring our memorabilia tent, and we have a toy Loach for the kids to ride.
Military Officers Association is an organization where we seek to recruit active duty military officers, or those who are retired, or those who have served in the military. And what we want to do is try to encourage officers to become affiliated with MORE, because our primary mission is to try to protect the benefits that we have that have been granted to us by the government, that were promised to us when we served. We do have, as I mentioned a moment ago, quite a few officers here in Polk County. And, unfortunately, many of them don't know about us. And so we want to try to add Sun and Fun, and many of them come out to Sun and Fun. So we try to contact them and talk to them and share with them literature about MORE while they're here. And many of them have decided to join and be a part of us.
On 7 August, Polk County will celebrate Purple Heart Day. Be sure to mark that date on your calendars, and we will have more details about what the county is planning for this special event on a future episode. Please take note that our Polk County Veteran Services officers will be attending the annual certification training in Safety Harbor later this month. In VA news, the Department of Veterans Affairs announced on 19 April that it is implementing an initiative to expedite compensation claims decisions for veterans who have waited 1 year or longer. Effective immediately, VA claims raters will make provisional decisions on the oldest claims in inventory, which will allow veterans to begin collecting compensation benefits more quickly. Veterans will be able to submit additional evidence for consideration a full year after the provisional rating and before a final decision is made. VA Secretary Eric Shinseki said, quote, "We are implementing an aggressive plan to eliminate the backlog by 2015. And this is the right thing to do for our veterans who have waited the longest." On 27 March, the Department of Veterans Affairs launched a new hotline to receive and respond to questions from veterans, their families, and caregivers. Call 1-855-VA-WOMEN to receive information about the many VA services and resources available to women veterans. Women make up nearly 15% of today's active duty military and 18% of National Guard and Reserve forces. The population of women veterans using VA benefits, including health care, is growing rapidly. Since 2000, the number of women using VA health care has more than doubled. Based on the upward trend of women in all branches of service, the number of women veterans and female VA users will continue to climb. 10 cadets from the Florida Southern Army ROTC Battalion were commissioned at the end of April. Our own Tim Kirkhart spoke with 3 of these cadets about their training so far and what their future holds.
Welcome to this edition of Today's Veteran. I'm Tim Kirkhart, I'm your host, and today we have the opportunity to speak with 3 young future military officers from the ROTC program at Florida Southern College. First, we have Austin Sanderson.
How are you today?
Good.
Go ahead.
Then we have Heather Weaver.
Good morning, sir.
And we have Stephen Howard.
Good morning, sir.
We're here to talk to you today about, I know there's some exciting things getting ready to happen in your lives. I see your dress blues, and I see your branch insignia, which is always a special time when you finally get to put that on your uniform. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Austin, where are you from, and what's your background?
Well, I'm originally from Denell, New Jersey, but I've moved around a lot as a child because my father was a pastor. I've moved from Kansas to Illinois to Wisconsin and then all the way out to the East Coast and finally down here for school, and I've been here for the past 4 years. And I'm absolutely enjoying being in the military and living the life that I've chosen.
And you actually attend Southeastern University, correct?
Yes, I do. I go to Southeastern University, just about 2 miles from Florida Southern, and we operate out of a sister program, which means that we go to Florida Southern to participate in ROTC, but it's under the same school, which is Florida Southern.
Okay, and all your other classes are at Southeastern?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay. All right. And Heather, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was raised in Kentucky in Louisville, and I moved down to Florida about 10 years ago, and I actually attended Summerlin Academy here in Bartow, and I got a scholarship, a 4-year scholarship, and chose to go to University of Florida and transferred to Florida Southern. Florida Southern is one of the top 10% in the nation for ROTC programs, and the path I chose, that's just the best way to go. And I'm very excited that I'm getting commissioned from Florida Southern ROTC.
Now, did you go to Florida for how long?
For my first year. I was there for my freshman year.
And that you took ROTC there?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Okay. And Stephen, tell us about yourself.
I was born in Biloxi, Mississippi on Keesler Air Force Base. My father was in the Air Force for over 20 years. We moved several places around the South, and we ended up here in Tampa Bay. I graduated high school and went to Southeastern University upon graduation. I was in the Florida Southern Army ROTC program for the 4 years. I got my scholarship after the first year, and now I'm here about to get my commission.
Tell us about the ROTC scholarship and how that works and what that's meant to you and maybe your family.
Well, for me, I did not receive the national scholarship because I missed the deadline to turn in my application. But I called Florida Southern, and they happened to have a 4-year scholarship at the school. And I was told that all I needed to do was qualify for that scholarship, which is passing a PT test, having good grades, filling out the medical forms that you have to fill out. And after I completed all of those, I was contracted, and as soon as I signed the contract, my scholarship went into effect. And for me, it's been a lifesaver for being in school and not having to worry about whether or not I'm going to be able to come back next year, or whether or not my school is paid for. It's been a real blessing.
Right. So it means a lot financially. Tell us about what it means to you and what it meant to your family, I guess, to have that that help with the finances and things like that.
Well, I'm actually the first in my family to graduate college.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. My parents attended for a little while but weren't able to complete it because they had to have a job to support their family. And it's very important to me to graduate and to commission. That's my goal. It's been my goal since I was a freshman in high school. So to be able to receive the scholarship before I even got to college and know where I was going and how it was going to be paid for, it relieved a lot of stress, and it showed that I could do what I needed to do and get it done.
That's great. That's great. And how about how the scholarship has affected you? And
just like Weaver, the scholarship helps out making sure that I'm able to be supported throughout the time I'm in college. College is very expensive nowadays, and it gives I'd probably say a reward to the effort that we're putting into the program to help us get through school, to make sure that we're able to be better leaders in the outcome. So we use that as a foundation to make sure that we're pushing through, being the best that we can. So it's more like an investment, not just for ourselves, but also the country.
Right, I agree with that, and it's a lot cheaper than U.S. military academy or something like that. And you,
yes, sir.
I'll tell you all that I was in the ROTC program at Florida Southern way back in the day, and when I went on active duty, and of course at summer camp, you guys have been to summer camp, right?
Yes,
we were very competitive with all of the other big schools, and I met a lot of West Point people that we were right up there with them. So I know the training that you've received at Florida Southern is going to do you well, and you'll be right up there competing for the promotions and all that. Tell us a little bit about your position in the ROTC program. I know you're the battalion cadet commander?
Yes, sir.
And what cadet rank is that?
But the cadet battalion commander is basically the cadet lieutenant colonel.
Okay.
And at that, the description of the rank is to organize everything within the battalion and make sure everything happens for that semester or the year that you are a battalion commander. Okay. So for this year, my job was to plan labs for teaching the MS3s, our juniors who will be headed off to summer camp, train them through labs and plan those, and have assigned my MS4s that are my staff jobs so that they can do their job to help me out and run the battalion a bit smoother, since it is a cadet-run battalion and not a cadre-run battalion.
So that's great training for your
definitely, yes.
In the next few months when you go on active duty.
Yes, very much so.
Now there are 10 individuals that are going to be commissioned.
Yes, sir.
And of course you're 3 of them. How many are from Southeastern?
There are actually 3 of us from Southeastern this year, which I believe is one of the biggest Southeastern graduating classes that we've had at the ROTC program. And next year, I believe we have another 3 that are going to be graduating and commissioning as well. So we've been, Southeastern's presence in ROTC has been steadily growing, and we're still trying to create a better presence because we want to try and promote the program in a Christian environment as well.
All right, that's great. So. Heather, what is your cadet position in the Moccasin Battalion?
I'm the Cadet Command Sergeant Major. I'm the senior NCO in the battalion, and I act as the liaison between the lower enlisted cadets and the battalion staff. So basically I'm in charge of all the lower enlisted, which is the sophomores, the freshmen, and the juniors. And I make sure that they have everything they need and that they're following the correct discipline, and I work on morale as well.
When do you have, is it a one-day, one afternoon drill like it used to be, or do you do it more often with where you have formation and all that kind of stuff with the training?
Well, we have one day a week where we do our drill type training, where we go out to Lakeland Highland Scrub or Lake Bonnie Park, or we do it at the sump right next to the school. Mm-hmm. And we train on basic soldier skills and also train the MS3s how to be squad leaders so that they can lead a mission on their own. And every other day of the week, in the mornings, we have our PT sessions, which start at about 06 and they go to about 07. And 2 days a week also there's classes. So you get about 4 to 5 days a week of ROTC learning how to become a leader and how to lead soldiers and be a better.
What day is the drill, or is the session where you go to the sump or wherever? Is that, back in my day, it was on Wednesdays.
It still is on Wednesdays.
Is it?
Yes, I guess the tradition is carried on. And we still conduct them on Wednesdays. Depends on when the school gives us time, but typically Wednesdays are in the afternoon, and we just conduct the training as we planned it.
That's good. Stephen, what is your position in the Cadet Battalion, and what is your job?
Last semester I was the Battalion Operations Officer. Pretty much I coordinated with all the other MS4s in conducting our labs, our Wednesday drills, making sure that training was completed, and all the coordination was done. This semester I'm the Battalion Cadet Recruiting Officer, so I coordinate going to recruiting events, making sure that we're getting new incoming cadets, and making sure that they're able to meet the standards that ROTC has for them.
Where did you go to summer camp? Is it still at Fort Bragg, or is that someplace else?
It's at Fort Lewis in Washington.
It is?
Is where it has been for several years now.
Wow.
But they're actually transitioning to Fort Knox in Kentucky, because that's where all of Cadet Command is located now.
Okay.
So not this year, but the year after is when they plan on switching over to Fort Knox.
Okay.
But we all attended Fort Lewis.
Wow.
It typically goes for about 4 weeks, and I mean, as far as stories, I'm sure we all have hundreds and hundreds of stories that we could tell.
Well, tell us about the commissioning. I see your insignia. Tell the audience what that means.
The insignia that I have on my lapel is the cross rifles, which is the sign of the infantry, which I will be headed to Fort Benning in about 3 weeks for my basic officer leaders course, and I'll be there for about 4 months learning how to be a lieutenant in the infantry.
Okay, that's the backbone of the
that is the backbone of the Army, yes.
Now, do you have orders to where you're going to go after that, or do you know yet?
As of right now, I have not gotten those. I'll know when I get to Benning, and they'll tell me there, and then I'll figure that out.
And I see you have a couple other things on your chest there. Tell us what that means.
Yes, the two pins I have on my uniform are the airborne, which is the top pin, and then the bottom pin is air assault. The airborne school is basic parachuting. You jump out of a plane, and then the parachute will catch you, and you fall to the ground, and it's basically a stylish way to fall. And so I went to that course after my MS1 year, my freshman year, and then I went to air assault the year after, which is how to rappel out of helicopters, how to conduct sling load operations or hook different items of equipment up to helicopters, so on and so forth.
And how did you get into those schools? Was that very competitive too?
Yes, it was quite competitive. I had to compete with both my classmates here to try and get into those schools, and it was based on an OML due to what you did for the battalion, as well as your PT score, as well as how they think that you will do at the school. And if they think that you will pass with flying colors, they'll typically send you, because the more cadets that we pass through a school, the next year we might get more slots that we can send more cadets.
Right.
So that's kind of how that process worked out for me.
How hard was it? How hard was airborne school?
It got tough. It got tough. There were parts of it that were hard, and there were parts of it that you enjoyed very much. You know, jumping out of a plane was probably the most enjoyable thing I'll ever do. Yeah. And I would say air assault was just as hard, if not harder. It has a 12-mile ruck that you have to, or a road march that you have to complete, and with about 45, 50 pounds on your back, and that was not easy in any shape, but you know, you get through it and you continue on, and a month later you forget that it ever happened, and all you have to remember is the pin.
And you've got it forever.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
great. Heather, I see your insignia. Tell us about that and what's going to happen with you very, very soon.
Well, I am going into the Military Police Corps, and I am actually going to Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri in about a month, and I'll be there for 4 months, and then I have my orders following that. After 4 months there, I get to come home and pack and then head out to Fort Hood in Texas to join the 89th MP. So that's where I'm going, and I'm very excited. I've always wanted to be an MP, so I worked really hard and I was able to get it.
That's great. Stephen,
The-
what do we got here?
The insignia on my lapel is of the Transportation Corps.
Okay.
I'll be going up to Fort Lee, Virginia to go through the Transportation School. Afterwards, I'm in the Florida Army National Guard, so I'll be staying here in Florida working with the National Guard down in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay. Now, you're also a Southeastern
Yes,
student,
sir.
correct? And so let me get this straight. You actually attend your classes at Southeastern, but you do all of your ROTC work at Florida Southern.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
So it basically works out that I know for us, Tuesdays and Thursdays we have our class where we meet and learn complex leadership, which is what you're going to be doing as a lieutenant. They start training you for that in ROTC. And then on Wednesdays, like I said, we'll go to the building or we'll go to the scrub or somewhere to train. And then every day for PT, we make that 2-mile drive down the road just to Florida Southern to conduct PT every day and meet at the building. And I wouldn't ask for it any other way. I love the camaraderie of being able to go to an ROTC building and see everybody that I've been with for three or 4 years, and get to talk with them and hang out before and after PT as well.
When you mentioned PT, explain what PT is, and tell me, as an update, what's on the PT test now? What are the activities that you have to do?
All right, our PT is a cadet run as well. We have a cadet who sits down and plans out PT for about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time, and it typically consists of running, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever we think that we can use to increase the physical fitness level of a younger cadet to be where they can pass the PT test. And the PT test consists of push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. And the push-ups you have to, for an 18 to 21-year-old male, would have to complete, is it 42 push-ups?
42 push-ups.
42 push-ups and 53 sit-ups, and also run 2 miles in a 15-minute and 56-second run. I'm not sure about female standards.
The females, I only know what the maxing standards are, honestly. The maxing standards are 42 push-ups, 78 sit-ups, and a 15:36 2-mile run. Now they have obviously more time. They can run it in about 18 minutes. They just have to be under that 18-minute mark. And normally our females, we actually have pretty good female runners. We have several that are in the 15s and a couple that are under 15-minute 2 miles, so that's awesome because that's faster than some of our males.
Yes.
And we have several that are pretty good at push-ups that are in the 50s and 60s. And sit-ups, males and females across the board normally do about 70.
Yeah.
So we have a pretty good PT program.
So it's a 2-mile run, sit-ups, and push-ups.
Yes, yes, and typically we find that our school, whenever we head off to LDAC, Leadership Development Assessment Course, or summer camp, whenever we head out there, we typically find that our school does better at PT than most other schools, at least on the PT test and on the ruck marches that they make you accomplish.
So you be receiving a regular Army commission?
Yes, sir. I'll be active duty.
Okay, and you?
Yes, sir, active
And
duty.
what is your obligation? year-wise? Is it a 4-year or active duty?
It's an 8-year obligation you sign with the contract, and only 4 of those have to be active duty.
Okay.
So you can do the 4 years in ROTC, that counts as 4, and then the active duty would count as another 4. I'm obligated for active as 7 years. I took a graduation ADSO, which adds 3 years onto my service, but allows me to go to graduation school. And the Army will pay for that as well. So that was my choice, to add on another 3 years to my time and move on from there.
When will that be? When will that school take place?
That can take place almost at any time that I want to enact that clause to go to graduation school. From my point of view, I'm looking at doing it later in my career, probably a captain or first lieutenant, late first lieutenant.
Okay, all right. And what are you planning to do? I know you're going to be an officer in the National Guard. What else are you planning to do?
I'm planning to go to school, since I'm not going to be in the military full time. Mm-hmm. In the National Guard, we have a drill 1 week in a month and 2 weeks out of the year for our annual training. So given that extra time, I'm able to serve the community as well as serve in the military service. So I plan on going to school for a little while further, graduate school, and then getting a job hopefully down there near Miami.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the Florida Southern ROTC program, and the whole community is grateful for your service that you're going to do and the leadership that you're going to show. So congratulations. Now, one final question. Mm-hmm. Who's going to pin you?
My parents are going to come, and they're going to put on my bars for me.
Okay.
So I'm having them come down as a special honor to that.
That's great. And you?
My fiance is going to pin my bars on.
Okay.
My wife.
Your wife?
Yes, sir.
None of you need me to do it. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up this session. Thanks to the cadets from Florida Southern ROTC and the cross-enrollment with Southeastern. Again, good luck to you, and thank you for serving.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Remember, for help and information regarding claims, benefits, and services available to veterans and their families, give the Veteran Services Office a call or log on to the Polk County website. That's all we have for this edition of Today's Veteran. I leave you with these words from Theodore Roosevelt: "In peace, prepare for war. In war, prepare for peace."